Hey everyone, nice to see you again. Welcome back. Talon coming at you with another tea video. This one is another one from Bitterleaf Tea. This one is Night and Day 2024 Black and White Tea Blend. I have literally zero experience with black and white tea mixtures. I've seen a few around here and there on Bitterleaf and Yunnan sourcing, and I believe White 2 Tea. So I think I have a couple that I've ordered that I have sitting around. This will be one of them. It is from right before my most recent order. It was the last order that had my green tea in it. I also had a few random samples in there. This is one of them. So I'll be trying this today. So let me just get into the description, talk about pricing, and then I will give you a smell and show you the leaves. Now in its second iteration, this blend Shehong, sun-dried black tea, and white tea is comprised solely of Jingyu material this time around, with much different, arguably better results. This year's pressing maintains a similarly agile balance between the two types of teas, taking advantage of these teas' strong fragrance and flavor, but with some added depth and texture. The most notable feature of this tea is a strong dark cherry note, followed by a slight herbal licorice quality in the back. These types of blends tend to create an interesting experience that shifts brew to brew, and this tea is no exception. In the long term, we expect flavors to meld, although it can be hardly know exactly what to expect. As these blends tend to go through phases, as time moves on, one tea often makes up for the other's awkward or quieter time, and vice versa. Budget Although experimental in nature, this tea's budget beating price makes it low risk, high reward. It's 10 cents a gram. So we'll talk about pricing real quick. For this little sample pack I got here, we're looking at 25 grams, which is $3. 200 grams for a full cake is $19. And for 1 kilo, they sell it as a tea. So 5 200-gram cakes wrapped in bamboo, it's $89. So still under $100 for a kilo of tea. So that's crazy good pricing, in my opinion. I think that's, can't beat it. Hopefully it's just as good. Could very well be a solid daily drinker. I do think these leaves look very pretty as well. It looks like fall, like autumn, you know? You got the oranges, the yellows, the browns. It's a very pretty looking tea for sure. But I'll link this below as always. Looks like they're doing free shipping on orders over $99 right now, so it's good to know. And we'll look at these. So these are the pieces I got. This is all of it in my 25-gram sample. Looks nice. There's some pretty sizable chunks for sure, especially this one. Looks like I got some tea off the center of the cake. And we'll do a quick smell profile. I took all the tea out of the bag. There's still a good amount of crumbs in there, and I closed it. So we'll do it out of the bag because I just think that'll be offer the best smell. It's quite an interesting smell for sure. I feel like I'm getting some of the fruity cherry notes they mention, which I assume come from the black tea. I don't drink much black tea. It's not something I follow, but I'm also getting some good herbal notes off of it as well. I feel like I do get hints of both the black and the white tea. Maybe a little floral or something. I'm not too sure. I don't really know what to brew this at. It's kind of interesting. So we will do, I don't know, let's start with 200 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll see how that goes. This will be my first time trying this, first time opening the bag. So we'll take these two little pieces. Not sure how much that is, but seems reasonable enough. And since this tea is still a bit compressed, I might, I don't know, let it sit for a little extra for this wash. Which I don't know if this wash should be dumped. Probably not, right? It's not a pour. It's not like aged or anything. It's a 2024. So it should be fine to just drink the wash. So I'm going to let this steep for, I don't know, probably like 10, 15 seconds longer than I should, and I will be back. Alright, a few seconds too long, probably. Oh well. We'll just call that an experiment, a test. But they're still quite compressed, for sure. Very nice looking liquid, though. Not quite the color of a black tea. Kind of could be an aged white tea as far as color. Reminds me of like a good aged, Sheng Puer. Uh, yeah, looks like a good liquid though. Real clear, real deep, like a burnt amber. No specks, no dust. The leaves look pretty whole overall, even though it's like compressed. It's you can still see like the full leaves. And we'll do a quick wet smell profile while we're at it. Real interesting smell. I feel like I get kind of a caramely, a lot of like caramely sweetness and like a bit of a vague fruit scent. I don't know what kind of fruit, but kind of fruity. A little bit herbal, which I think is coming from the white tea. I do drink a lot of white tea, so I'm definitely getting things that remind me of white tea in this for sure, but something different as well. I think I might very much enjoy this mixture. I'm not typically a black tea drinker. I don't necessarily dislike it. It's just not my preference. I assume this is black tea in Western speak, so red tea for Chinese tea. I like it here and there. It's just very, I don't know, basic. It's something I've had a lot of growing up. I've always had it. And on my Gong Fu journey the last year, I just want to try new things. I have nothing wrong with black tea. I'll probably always go back to it and have some sitting around as a good go-to. I do really like the Jesse's Tea House, the red tea from them, probably the best I've had up to this point. So, it definitely has its place. But I've just been enjoying trying all the new ones for sure. But so this was brewed at 200 Fahrenheit. We'll give this a little taste. Very mellow so far. I might have to do another brew. Even though this one sat for quite a while, I felt. Vague sweetness in the background. A little herbal. That's really all I'm getting so far. So I'm gonna do probably put this lid back on, see if this tea will steam a little and decompress, and then I'll do another steep. Maybe I'll go full boiling this time just to give it a shot. Alright, so I went in this time with 212 degree water, 100 C, full boiling. Definitely, to me at least, already looks like it has a darker color. Leaves have separated a bit, not too compressed anymore. Yeah, I don't think it really picks it up on camera, but in person it definitely looks a little darker already. Let me smell the leaves a bit, see if that's changed. Definitely smelling, I think, more like a, they call it a black tea on the site, so I'll call it a black tea. Smells more like a black tea than a white tea now. I think that when it was dry and that after that that first wash, it definitely had a lot more hints of white tea in it. I think the black tea is kind of taken over at this point. Not necessarily a bad thing. The taste could still be there. We'll see. On that wash, there was not a whole lot of taste. It was just a little herbal, maybe a little bit of sweetness, but that's all I was getting. So we will see. Alright, let's give this steep a little taste. This one, remember, was at 212 Fahrenheit, 100 C, so full boiling. Probably went about, 20, 25 seconds. Definitely taking on more characteristics of a black tea, but it has like a little bit of the herbaceousness, and I guess black tea and white tea both have a sweetness in their own way. And I'm getting almost a papery taste, which might be coming from the white tea. I've definitely experienced a couple different white teas that have almost a cardboard papery kind of thing going on. Not a bad thing. It's just different. But there is a good amount of sweetness, and it's very. I don't very. There's like a sweetness. There's that paperiness. There's a bit of herbalness to it. Kind of a light medium body to it. I wouldn't say it's fruity. I think they mentioned cherry. I was getting like cherry at first. Um, Definitely a very strong. I wouldn't say strong tea, but it's a deep tea. It's something that if you wanted to add sugar and milk to it, could definitely take it. I'd say the flavor's a little more mellow than a typical black tea, and more. It's not quite as sweet as a good aged white tea. It's kind of in between, which it is a mixture of both, so that makes sense. Definitely very interesting, very drinkable. Price makes it very drinkable as well. If you wanted like a good every morning kind of tea, you could probably very easily throw this in a thermos or stick it in a mug and go about your day. If you want some milk and sugar, do that. Uh, Definitely not a bad tea. I'd say definitely worth sampling. Add to your order 25 grams for $3. See if you like it or not. It's definitely kind of a. I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I'm not gonna say it's bad by any means. It's just I'm on the fence if I like it or not. I might have to drink it a little more and decide. But I'm definitely enjoying it. Let me do a second steep and I'll give my final thoughts then. All right. If we exclude the wash, this will be the second steep. I was kind of curious about how this tea would brew, more like a black or more like a white, as far as temp and timing, since it's a combo. And I've gone more towards brewing it like I would a black. So if you're out there and you try this tea, let me know how it goes if you try cold brew or brewing it like a white or Western style or any other methods you decide to try. It definitely smells very much like a black tea now, though. Um, Very herbal, very deep, very earthy. At first, it did have those hints of white tea in there. I felt, in the smell at least, completely gone now. They were completely gone last seep too. I think after the wash, they were completely gone. Um, Very nice looking liquid though. Nice deep amber color, deep red, deep orangish, like a burnt orange. Um, Very clear. Yeah, very few specks, just a few leaves got through. But looks very good. Looks seems like it's something that'll be easy to brew for timing and temp and all that. Seems like you can probably grandpa style it, probably just set it and keep it steeping, good to go, and run it till it's done. But mileage may vary. All right, I let this cool off a bit. We're gonna give it a taste. Yeah, I'll say this: it's a reasonably decent tea for a very good price. Um, Deep, earthy, herbal, a little bit of sweetness here at the end. Uh, they say it has a dark cherry note. I don't notice any. I did notice a little, some kind of just vague fruitiness at first, but it's kind of gone now. I noticed also papery at first, but that papery's kind of gone now. Overall, it's like a black tea. They muted the fruitiness, and a white tea they muted like the vanilla fig characteristics, and they put the rest together. Is what I'm getting. So it's like kind of if you took away my favorite part of both and put them together. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's definitely not my favorite. Um, it would take very well to milk, I think. It kind of reminds me of Irish breakfast tea, if I'm thinking about it. It reminds me of Irish breakfast tea. It would take milk very well. It would take sugar very well. Very mellow sweetness to it, but not as strong as some of the better red teas I've had or some of the better white teas I've had. Not that sweet. Quite a bit of herbalness. It's just a all around just tastes like a blended breakfast black tea. Not necessarily a bad thing. It's just it is what it is. Very reasonable price if you wanted to get it. Add a sample to your order, $3. Definitely an interesting try, a black tea blended with a white tea. Yeah, I just don't think it really does it for me. But hey, it's an experiment. Can't win them all. I'm sure some people will like it more, some people will like it less. But hey, $3, give it a try. I'll link it down below, but I think that's all I have for this one. Definitely a different experience. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more tea content. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Does this sound like it could have potential or sound kind of weird? Are there any other tea blends you think would be kind of cool or interesting to try? Let me know. All right, see ya.